Here's everything that's sold minus 2 CD lots and a TV box set over the weekend. It's Monday, it's the holiday weekend, Monday, January 15th, 2024. And I wanted to share with you everything here that's sold from the lowest profit to the highest profit items. As you can see, I got quite a smorgasbord here of items. I sell mostly books, CDs, and DVDs on eBay with some other types of media like a VHS tape, records, not necessarily video games, but other types of media as well that pops up, like a laser disc, random things like that. But for the most part, it's books, CDs, and DVDs. And here, you don't have a DVD, which is crazy, but usually you do. So this is all that's sold. Now I'm going to go through it individually. This one here is called Across Real Time. This has been up for quite a while. It was signed, but I only got $8 for it. This is a science fiction, fantasy type of book. I don't know where it's signed. Oh, now of course I'm not going to be able to find it. Maybe it's on the next page. There it is. Signed in 1995. So apparently it's not highly sought after. I had it up for more, but I'm running a promotion, so it's sold for less. Now I don't do free shipping anymore. Everything is with shipping. This was an older item, so that's why. Both of these, so this one sold for $15 and this one sold for $14.59. Both of these came from different thrift stores, but from last year. So this one came from a thrift store that I go to usually twice a week, all the way back in June. I remember buying this one, June 21st of last year, so last summer, beginning of last summer. Bought it for $1, sold it for $14.59 plus shipping. Not a bad flip. Took a little while. And not a bad flip in terms of profit, spending $1, making probably around $9 or so. It's not a quick flip, unfortunately, but it sold, so I'm happy about that. This one here is from another thrift store that I purchased back in October 31st of last year. It doesn't say how much I got it for. Probably, let's see, at that thrift store, probably $1. At most $1.50, but probably less than that. Sold for $15 plus shipping. I did take an offer. It took about 2.5 months to sell. Spanish language CD. Look for those as well. I mean, there's all kinds of CDs that sell for good money. This one, I did take an offer though. I did have it going for 25 and decided, you know what? I'll just take the money. And sometimes, you feel like that and you want to just keep it moving and take that money and buy some more inventory. So that's what I decided to do with that one. And yeah, we'll talk about that later. So this one here is one that I bought in 2022. So this is really old. This is almost 2 years ago that I listed this. This is from, what is that? March 30th of 2022. Celestial Navigation. I remember finding this and listing it and thinking, you know what, this is probably going to be a long tail. And it ended up being a long tail, but it did sell for $19.99 plus shipping. It's a very specific, it's a complete 2-hour course there on celestial navigation. It's a very specific topic. It is a VHS tape, but what you will find with VHS tapes is sometimes certain ones will not be available on DVD or streaming or anything like that. So there's often someone that's going to want a physical copy. So that's a case of a long tail. But again, if it was only selling for $10 or $8 like this, I wouldn't say it was worth it. But at least it's going to be around $15 of profit after everything. And this is one that I bought from somebody that I had worked with for a while in 2022. He was getting books. He sort of had a deal with somebody else, and he was getting books dropped off to him. But he would get a lot of extra books that he was only doing Amazon. Mostly FBA, but he started to get into merchant fulfilled, but he wasn't doing eBay. And of course he didn't have a local store like I do, but he wasn't interested in any of the other media. Sometimes he would get DVDs, VHS tapes, even CDs sometimes, and just get a lot of books that he didn't want to sell. So I would go through them and pay him for those. So that's kind of how that worked, but ended up dying off because he decided to stop selling books. I guess he started selling some other stuff. But anyway, this one here is a first edition by Carleen Cohn, Through a Glass Darkly. It's still sealed. Ended up selling it for $23.35 plus shipping. Has something else here in the back. it's rare that I come across books that are still in the original wrapping. It's not too often. It's not really, they're not really like DVDs and what do you call it, CDs, where you'll come across a lot that are still sealed like this. But this one was. I don't know where I got this one from, but I do know I've had that for quite a while. But I'm happy with 23 bucks and change plus shipping. That's not a bad sale, but it's definitely a long tail sale. This one is pretty cool. This is a book from 1909, and it is the poetical works. Oh, that came off. Of Edgar Allan Poe. I don't really want to. Let's see here. It's pretty. Not rough. I don't know. It's an old book. It's over 100 years old, so it's. I don't want to open it, but yeah, it's a very old book. This is one that I got back in 2022 as well. This took quite a while to sell. I had it up for 50 bucks, but I think actually what happened was it was on, I have a promotion running, and 27% off, I believe. And so it was dropped 36 bucks. Someone bought it. I'm happy with it. I believe it's free shipping, actually. If I said plus shipping, I was wrong. But yeah, an old book about Edgar Allan Poe and his poetry. So that's a really cool find. And this one came from someone that I had a couple of loads of books dropped off, and then it sort of abruptly ended without going into too much detail. It was kind of a bizarre situation. You'll come across that. You'll make some connections, and then suddenly people will disappear, or for whatever reason say, "Oh no, I'm not going to do that deal anymore." And it'll happen. But you meet people, and some relationships work out better than others, and that's just how it is. But the more people you meet, the more connections you make, and hopefully it's a win-win situation. They, either are just giving you stuff or they're selling you stuff, and it works for both of you. And that's often what happens over the years. This one is The Liquidator. It's another really cool, rare soundtrack CD, movie soundtrack. It's an original motion picture soundtrack, The Liquidator, starring Shirley, is it Bassey? Singing the title theme. This one sold for $40 plus shipping. This is from that separate 5-box of CDs donated to me from the same person, and from an incredible collection of rare soundtracks, rare jazz, and rare classical music. So I keep selling those. I have a lot more up on eBay still. A lot of them were long tail. A lot of them sold pretty quickly, but most of them are longer tail. But most of them do sell for more money, over 20, many over $30. And as this one, you can see 40 bucks. Now, the gem in terms of the profit wise is this one called the Colfax Bookplate by Agnes Miller. I actually don't know. I don't remember much about it. It's been up for sale for a little bit. It is, let's see if we can get the date. It says A Mystery Story, the Colfax Bookplate, 1926. So a very old book. This actually, I believe this book came from the store that I'm in that I took over. Hold on, I don't want the book to fall. Okay. Just got to be careful here. So it is older. That book is almost 100 years old. It's 98 years old. And the fun thing is it sold for $100. So $100, and it was selling for $129. It's been up for a while. Took an offer. $100 book. Lately, I've been selling some several books for over $100, collectible books. If you get into collectible books, usually it's either signed books, first editions, first printings, that kind of thing. If it's signed and it's a first printing or a first edition, depending on the book, it can be really valuable as well, even more valuable. It always just depends on what the market is bearing at the moment, but I recommend getting into them. Now, the downside to collectible books is they take a lot longer to look up. There's no barcode, there's no ISBN. And oftentimes it's like this, where if you scan the cover, you might find something, but this one, you might not find anything. So you're gonna have to look it up, type it in, or voice activated search kind of a deal. And it takes longer, but there's a lot of money. And this is not, I'm not talking about books that are going for thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, which is even more rarefied air of, types of books that are even harder to find. You might stumble across, but books that go for hundreds of dollars, which I think is a great place to be, because there's a lot of those books out there. You'd be surprised. You can find those in garage sales. You can find those in estate sales, especially. maybe in some thrift stores, but you know, make connections with people, become an estate liquidator, that kind of thing, where after an estate sale, you can come in and you'd be surprised the kind of good books that are still left. A lot of people leave and don't even bother looking at. Books are one of the things that people a lot of times, you know, won't look at. So that's something to consider. But this book came from the bookstore here, from the previous owner. A gazillion books that were that were here, and there was a bunch in the back where I store everything that I went through, like hundreds and hundreds of books, and a lot of them were really rare like this. That's where that came from. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.